let's just go ahead and take a look. So I have updated this. You guys have the updated version where it does have these bars already drawn, but sometimes we might change where some of these are. So these are broken down. On this end, we'd have 0%. On this end's 100%. So nothing all the way up to everything. And then we'll look at our problem and kind of label from there. So it says there are 60 middle school, high school students at LCCS. At one point there were, but not this year. 20% of the middle school, high school students are out sick today. So if I'm going to put 20% on here, where does that go? 2 boxes over, right? Because we're going to go 10, 20. So 20% is going to be right there. And then they're telling us that there are 60 middle school, high school students. Where does that go? At the end with 100, right. So this is all of them. And then it wants to know how many are out sick. So my question mark or my X, whatever you want to put there to represent that, is going to be how many of those students does it take to be 20%? Try that again. So how can we sort that out? How many of these little boxes are there?
10.
So how can I use that?
10 divided by 60.
Or 60 divided by 10, right idea. So how many is each box then? So then if I'm going 2 of them over here to 20, what's it going to be? 12. Good. We're starting to remember. Okay, so again, this is a little bit simpler than what was on the packets. They had like this, and then they had a number line. I just like to put it all in one. So on each of these, remember, one end is 0%, the other end is 100%. That's everybody or the whole group. So this starts off, there are 35 high school students. 80% of them have cell phones. How many high school students own cell phones? So story problems, it's good to read it more than one time. So let's go back. There are 35 high school students. Where would that go? The beginning of the 100. I heard that from a couple of you, so yeah. And then 80% of them have cell phones. Where is that going to go? Two back. Now, do I want to put the 80 up here or down here?
Down there.
Down there, because that's where the percents go. Good. So this one's kind of like the first one, right? I know that all of these are 35. It's not going to come out a whole number this time, though. So there's 35 in all, right?
35 divided by 80.
Is it divided by, are there 8 boxes total? The 35 is 100%, which is 10 boxes. So let's divide by 10 first. What's that going to, it gives you 3.5. So every box is 3.5. So 3.5 and 3.5 and 3.5. Do you guys get tired of writing 3.5?
No.
So what would be the shortcut to figure out what all those 3.5s add up to? Multiply. What would I multiply by? 8, because I'm going 8 boxes over. Good. And then I'm just going to do this because I don't have my calculator out, and it does come out 28. So 28, how'd you know that that's where your decimal went? Or did you use your calculator? Okay, that's okay, because we're using them a lot on this. But if you were doing it by hand, 1 decimal place, 1 decimal place. We were using calculators yesterday because they will get a little bit more complicated as we go. Just save some time. Okay, so everybody got that one? Okay, let's look at number 3. I'm always going to start with my 0%, 100%, so I just kind of know what my 2 ends are. And then 50% of the elk in the pasture are male. Where's 50% go? Halfway, which is how many boxes? 5, since we're out of 10. So 50% are male. And we talked about sometimes it helps to put a little note there what that means. So 50% of them are male. So what else does that tell us?
That 50% of them are female.
That 50% of them are female. Good. So half are male, half are female. So we can kind of use that idea. It says there are 56 male elk. Where's that going to go?
Right
On top of 50 or over by the 100? Okay, because I thought I heard both things. Which is it?
above the 50.
Because this is where the male elk are, so I got to put the 56, because that's only the male elk. Over here, it's going to be male and female, right? Okay, so I can do a couple of things. I could take this 56 and divide by, how am I going to go? It's going to give me a decimal, but it works. Can you think of another way?
You could just double 56.
Yeah, this is halfway, 50% is half. So we can just take that times 2, and it is 112. So that is what we're looking at. And we talked about yesterday, if you want to check that 50% is it, you could do this the way we were doing percents before. Change it to a decimal, take it times 112 on your calculator really quick to check, and see if it gives us 56. So you can always work it a different way to see if you're getting the same thing. Okay. Number 4, 13 of the people at the theater tonight bought Twizzlers. There is no theater tonight, but we're going to pretend. Okay, this is 20% of the people at the theater tonight. So I forgot to put my 0% and 100%, so let's do that. Okay, so 13 of those people bought Twizzlers, and this is 20%. Okay, so let's start with the percent, because I feel like that's the easier part. Where does the 20% go?
Bottom. 2 boxes.
2 boxes over on the bottom. Good. Where's the 13 going to go?
Above it.
Above the 20%. Good. Because that's just the people eating Twizzlers. Maybe I don't like Twizzlers. I actually love Twizzlers. I can eat a whole package in one sitting. It's not good for you. But yeah, other people might just get popcorn, or might get a drink, or might get nothing. So, all right, so there's a couple of ways we could then figure out how this is going to go. Huh? Okay, what's your way? Why is it times 5? Yeah, so what he's looking at, say there's 20%, there's 20, 20, 20. So he broke into pieces instead of 10 and took 13 times 5. Do we have to do it that way? No. So if you took this and divided it by 2, you would have got 6.5. And I don't know how to feel about those half people at the theater. But for the math that we're trying to do, it works, right? Because you're going to take it times 10. I'm glad you guys think I'm funny. All right. So I could take 6.5 times 10, and that's also going to give me 65. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this. When we get done doing some of these that have kind of some nice numbers, we're going to do some where we have to use those proportions we were solving last week to solve, because there's no nice numbers. And so we're going to have a lot of different tools to use. And some choice, like maybe I get to choose the way that works best in my brain instead of the way it worked in the brain of the person who wrote the textbook. Okay, number 5, 22 out of 88 traffic stops this week were for speeding. So they didn't give us any percents at all. I just have the 0% and the 100%. So what do you think about what's going to be over the 100%? The 88. That's going to be the total. Where am I going to put the 22?
You're going to subtract it from the 80.
Okay, we could start with that. Subtract it, we get 66, which would be, and then I could do it again and get 44. Do it again, get 22. Or I could think about this, like, well, 22 is a fourth of 88. So maybe I see that, maybe I don't. And if you don't, you can probably figure it out here in a second. So let's, actually, I didn't put it in the right place either. So if this is 88 and I took 80 divided by 10, you'd find that each are 8.8, which is kind of, So this may be where dividing it into 10 pieces doesn't work at all. I may want to break it up this way. Okay, so 88 is here. Let's just break it in half. What's half of 88? 44. Else, maybe I can break it in half. If I take 44 and break it in half again, which is going to be right here, then I'll get 22. And then I could do it over here and put C. So we talk about sometimes we may not want to break it into 10 pieces. Sometimes we might want to break it into 4 pieces because percents and quarters happen a lot. When I take 100% and divide it into 4 pieces, how much are my pieces? Of $1. Huh? They're each, so each of these is 22. What about the percent though? 25, because 25% is equal to a fourth, which is something that we know it's in there somewhere, but we don't always think about it. I always think about money. Okay, if this is $1, then this is quarters. 'Cause quarters, like we know how to count money, we like money. That seems to stick in our brains. We all care about that. And so we can use that to kind of figure it out and do this. You also, though, if you have to use those 10%, you can do it and it works. It's just a little weird because I'm going to have 8.8. I'm going to have another 8.8, and then I have half of one, which would be much. 4.4, and I can add those up. 8.8 and 8.8 and 4.4, and that's 16 plus 4 is 20, down my decimal, 10 and 12, and what did I just, 16 and, it's been a long day. It's 22, it is 2, I think. Just look. So that adds up to 22 out of 88, which was back where we started. And then 22 out of 88. I know what we did. It's taking my brain a second. Right. So we were dividing these on the calculator and it gives you 0.25, and we talked about taking it times 100 to move it 2 places, being 25%. It shifted on me, my brain didn't quite make the shift. Not gonna happen to you guys. Sorry, it's the last math class of the day. Almost there. Okay, that one was weird. I want you guys to try number 6, your problem. And if you need help setting it up, do that. I'll read it out loud and then you can try. So 30 out of 150 people who attended contests were dressed as Disney characters. What percent of the people at the contest were dressed as Disney characters? So don't forget to put 0 and 100% in there. And then I'm going to let you guys see if you can figure it out. Give me a couple minutes. And then what kind of steam should we use today? Feel like we'll do the cute little flower today.
Really?
Is it? Oh, I just got green all over my Band-Aid. Okay, here, let me, is it frozen? Okay, it's frozen, so you can put it in there. Yes. So they used a little trick. So think about how many 30s are 150. That's how they kind of figured it out fast. Okay, we're gonna continue work on the packet. Once you've been checked. I'm trying to decide. We did 8 yesterday. What if we did 8 more today and left 4 tomorrow? And then left work on Zern. So instead of finish, we'll do 9 through 16. We'll change that. Hey guys, let's see. Yes, stamped. Okay. Stamp you. Okay, so numbers 9 and 16 on the packets. Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah. I have to get up today. So it'll be 5. And so you have 5 parts. So you made it into 4 parts. You just have to be 1 more. That's okay. This decides to find a little bit better, right? So that means that each of these are gonna be a third. So that third go there, and then we can figure out what it is. So we have 100%. You divide it into 5 parts. How much each part be? So we're trying to figure out the percent. It's okay. I know, I collected this thing third. Watch. So let's try to do 9 through 16. If you guys get Dominic, Tipper, and Zern, and the last one on the list is my stamp. That's in my drawer.
I'm missing a lot.
No.
I just got 4 to 6.
What are you looking at? I haven't graded anything. Did you not go to number 8? Is that what you wanted to tell me? Okay. I'm a little confused. Come here in a second. Sometimes when people try to accept my brain needs to just kind of see it. I just have that stamp from sorry. It's okay. I'm gonna get it from. It didn't really seem it. Okay. Sorry. And just. It kind of works.
So just start remembering. No, that was me. Have you seen
So I'm trying to remove the bars and I actually technically there's things but before I jump in all the proportions.
Okay. That's what I was saying. Sometimes you can read them through. I think. Okay.
I don't really spend too much time on the review. Because sometimes this is just I feel that I'm
Yeah.
So
Honestly, I haven't seen
but
didn't we just
well, this is kind of like the same stuff that I think about.
didn't we just do this from the start?
I don't know, did we? If, it might be, it might be, it might not be. Let me find my back and I'll look which I buried. Because, so, which number you want? Number 9?
No, I'm gonna.
Number 10.
Yeah.
It's got trucks, but it's not a problem. That one's about SUVs and it's not my thing. I don't know if it's the same. They both have and they both have vehicles, so that is.
But it is 72 stars.
Yes. They were written by the same person who was thankful posted on teachers because I have to be extras. And I like that they start you guys with a picture and then put it away.
Who I think 25 so the 25 is the whole thing.
So we're gonna use this divided by all,
Oh, okay.
and then
And
this
then
would be
like
yes, you can do that. If that makes sense.
I got how often do
I forgot. It's nice to look back for okay, so that and right and third. So you've got 7, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 houses. So there's 72, 72, 72, 4. But I only need to know. What do I know? Oh, you're right. Hang on. So 72 divided by 1, 2. Okay, so this 72 is not the total. So instead of divided by 10, we want to divide just by 8 squares.
oh
And then we get a whole over. The right idea is just switch on 8. So
walked in during the worst moment. I have not yelled at this number. I told oh, ooh, me. I forgot Christmas Day, actually. I totally forgot yesterday. But, no. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Me one out of so the one that is really fun to play for you. I don't really have shit. Yeah. It's alright. The soul a solar is the wood like 5% of surrounding this 5% is the one to it's for $800 that day, so should $8 is useful. How much we needed so there's 10 boxes. I started figuring out the boxes. So they do 800 there you go. Have it inverse. Yeah, there did I do it in my response, I guess. That's my idea. Just make sure you know. Yeah. How would I do it? So 72 is that. 72 divided by 8 is 9. So these boxes is 9. Well, get to 16 and we can do that last week to do it tomorrow. Finish the last week, put it in. That way you guys want to learn a little bit while to listening to okay, so there should those boxes 72, 10 boxes later. So you can use that to figure out how much boxes. So boxes 9 and then it should be the big boxes could have solved everything. 10, 30, 30.